All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We are on chapter 37, which is Create Your Lead Gen Plan. And this chapter is very much a working chapter. It's a 9-step workflow for taking you from no plan to having a plan in place for finding new business. So I know everyone on the call right now already has a plan, so we don't need to go through all the steps, but we can certainly talk through any challenges you're having. We're recording this in May, so if you started your plan at the beginning of the year, you have some data points. We can talk through how it's going, anything you need to adjust. So let's open it up. Who wants to share first? How's your plan working?
I'd say my plan, excuse me. Whoops. I gotta, sorry, this is being recorded. I gotta jump off for like a second. I'll be right back.
Oh, that's all right. All right, Sharon, how's your plan working?
Didn't I just go over that?
You did, but I hadn't hit record yet.
I'm sorry, what was that? You
I
hadn't
said
what?
I hadn't hit the record button yet. So
Oh,
if you wouldn't mind just doing a brief summary for anyone who's listening in the future.
okay. So I took a stab at it in the first quarter and didn't get very far. So I've got my calendar set up to take another stab at it in the second quarter. And now that I'm recovered from my trip, I'm gonna try to do that starting next week.
Cool. So I have a follow-up question for you because I think what you're experiencing is very normal, where you have a plan, you start doing the plan, and then maybe get behind a little bit. How do you emotionally and mentally like get over that and still keep going? Because I think a lot of agents would shut down and say, well, I'm already behind and I'm not going to be able to catch up. And so just forget it.
Well, that sounds really familiar. And one of the things I put into place um, is it also in the first quarter is an accountability partner,
Mhm.
and she and I will resume our calls tomorrow. Not that that worked as well as I had thought, but it kind of keeps things present in my mind, and so even though I don't necessarily work the entire system. Um, I kind of bite off little bits and pieces of it now and then, you just have to do it. And that's what I found when I first got started. You just got to pick up the phone and make the calls. And it's not like I have a huge list every day. I think I talked about this in an earlier meeting where I found that if I try to just start really, really tiny, like two people in a day, it's too easy for me to blow that off.
Mhm.
But if I have, when I had five, it was like, okay, just get it done. And it wasn't hard to get it done. I could usually knock out those five in about an hour.
Mhm.
And then I would, make notes. They're listed in my Google Calendar on my list of calls each day, and I make notes in there about the gist of the call and any specifics on follow-up. And then my plan was on the weekend to then go back and load that into the contacts in command. Put in the activity that I had accomplished, set up my next task to contact that person whenever that needed to be, whether it was just next quarter or sooner if anything had come up
Mhm.
in the call. So that is my vision. for the system. So I'm working on executing.
I love it. I think it's awesome that you've dialed in on what the right number is for you per day, because that will be different for everyone. And you did find that one or two is too few. It's not enough. So that's important as well. Awesome. Thank you for sharing twice. Paul, what you got?
Okay, take two. I was going to say I could relate to, I was going to share basically that sort of like my first quarter plan. I was sending out, I have a first quarter project where I send out um, basically an equity analysis RPR report to past clients and friends that and acquaintances that have properties. And I send them the report via DTD2 schedule so I can get them all in a quarter. And that was going really well. And then I got kind of bound up with, so once I send them the report, then I follow up with a call and or text, letting them know that they have that and have any questions. So oftentimes it's just a voicemail or a text, but that sometimes there's a conversation that comes from it. So the last month of that quarter, like March, so it's already like 2 months ago, I had already gotten too busy, and I sent them all out, but I hadn't like followed up with any of those folks yet.
Mhm.
So where I'm at now is basically keeping up with current business and some follow-ups of things in the pipeline, but I haven't really been doing a great job of sort of development of new leads. But I have been kind of in the flow of being in touch with people, and that's how I primarily get my business anyway. So um, being out and about and just in the community, touching people, and so that's kind of working for me. But when I'm on a regimented plan, I have a hard time with that keeping consistent. So
Yeah.
that's the challenge. I think, and the problem is me when I fall behind, I tend to I guess weaponize it, I guess, in a way where I'm not now I'm feeling like a failure or something like that, so that it's now I'm not feeling good. So I'm not doing it and then not feeling good that I'm not doing it. So it's like a double whammy. So I
Yeah.
actually do better if I don't have that and I just am who do I need to talk to and I just reach out to them. So
Yeah.
more intuitive than regimented. And for some reason that seems to work better for me.
I'm not surprised at all to hear that. I think that is probably true for a lot of people because I don't know why. I don't know if it's just our society or that we give children rules and we're very strict and there are punishments, but whenever we put rules on ourselves in our business, like you have to do this, and if you don't, you're going to get in trouble, or you're a bad person, or you're a failure, or whatever, all this nonsense goes through that brain. And then, like you said, it's a double whammy. It just makes it worse. And then it's that much harder to go and take action the next time. So there's so much unnecessary pressure that gets put on us, and we can just alleviate that by finding the things that work, doing them in a way that flows without all the pressure. Yeah, intuitive versus regimented. I like that. I like that. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Sometimes it's easier for the 9 to 5ers who have a boss because then they can just, you know, complain about their boss. We're the boss, so we have to hold ourselves accountable. But Sharon, I'm glad to hear that you have an accountability partner because that's really important to have someone who's not you to talk to. I mean, you have us, but we're only here one day a week for a little bit of time. So this is actually the end of section 3 in the book, the end of the lead gen section. So going forward, we're going to be talking more about the process of selling real estate and working with clients and all of that stuff that happens as an introvert. So that is where we're headed for our next section of calls. And then we'll be kind of wrapped up with book club. So, what other thoughts or questions do we have around the overarching lead gen topic?
It's just one of those things that, eh, is always there. And some people do it well. Some people can just get in there and sit or stand at their desk and, you know, make those phone calls, and that's what they do every morning. And if you get into a routine like that, I just find that my schedule is I allow my schedule to get in the way, but there are certain times, I mean, there's often times where I have things that really need to be scheduled in the morning as opposed to in the afternoon. For example, um, I should focus on scheduling doctor's appointments in the afternoon, but I don't like to do that because I feel like if you get in to your doctor's office on one of his early appointments, you're much less likely that they're going to be late because their days kind of stretch out, and sort of a cascading thing for them. If they're running late, then if you have an appointment in the afternoon, they you tend to that tends to be a lot longer than it should. So that sort of thing. Um, but I could do better at that, at guarding the time, a specific time for lead generation.
Yeah, and well, yes and no. I mean, first of all, lead generation doesn't have to mean phone calls. It
True.
doesn't. And a lot of phone calls aren't generating new leads, they're follow-up. So that's a whole separate thing. Um, and I also wish we as a society could get away from the idea that phone calls have to have, if you are doing phone calls, which you don't have to, that has to be in the morning, because it doesn't. Just doesn't. And what you said about doctor's appointments, I find that to be true for airlines. I always prefer an early morning flight because the chances of the exact same thing throughout the day, they get pushed back and delayed. So I will take a 6 a.m. flight any day. Um, but yeah, lead gen can look a lot of different ways. It could be straight up just going to networking events in the evenings. Like that could be all you do.
True.
Awesome. Before I forget, next week we are going to not have our call because it's KW Red Day. So hopefully all your offices have something fun and charitable planned for you to do. We're going to be going to this local organization and organizing donations at their facility. So we'll be doing that all day. So I'll see you guys on the 21st. But yeah, anything else? Otherwise, we can wrap up this section early. Other thoughts, other questions? Sharon, you are right that lead gen is just, it's a consistent thing that needs to happen.
I think in terms of like a parting thought, I would say it's sort of like an investment in my business. So like if I take some action, whatever it is, sending texts, emails, phone calls, meeting people, it's like investing energy, and energy in is good. And even if it's a little bit and with some intention. So I think trying to, regiment it has been kind of backfired for me. So I just think about it as, all right, it's kind of like this. It's like if I want friends, I gotta be a good friend, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I have to take some action. And so with respect to lead gen, it is about taking action and investing in future business. So that's how I'm looking at it.
That's a good analogy. I like that a lot. It absolutely is an investment, but thinking of it like a friendship or really investing in relationships with people, because that's what it comes down to. That's a lot less intimidating than generating leads. Yeah. The fire emoji, I love it. So true. All right, I think that is a good place to wrap it up. Perfect. Think of investing in your relationships, which will result in future business. Well said. Thank you. See you guys in a couple weeks.
Bye.
Bye.